Hello students, let's talk about a very important chapter of your history book, class 8, establishment of company rule in India. And in this chapter we shall deal with all the important battles and wars that took place in India during the British period. See the map of India during the period of 18th century when the Britishers came to India as a traders. That time India was divided into a number of principalities. The Maratha formed the most extensive empire in India after the Mughals. Then here you see the kingdom of Mysore, which also became very powerful during the reign of Hyder Ali. Then just to the east of Mysore we find Carnatic, which was being ruled by the Muslim Nawabs. It was in the Carnatic that the first battle of East India Company took place. Then here another very great kingdom, that is Bengal. Then in the north of India, to the north of India we find the Kashmir regions and Punjab regions, all comprises one great kingdom, that was the kingdom of the Sikh, whose foundation was laid by Maharaja Ranjit Singh. He was one of the greatest ruler of India. So this was the scene of the political condition of India just during the beginning of the modern period. Okay. So the first was the Carnatic War that took place during the period of 1746 to 48. The Carnatic Wars were a series of wars that took place between the French and the East India Company to gain supremacy over Indian territories as well as to establish their monopoly over trade with India. Let's talk about first Carnatic War. War took place between the English and French East India Company. The war was over without any victory from either side. The Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle was signed in 1748, according to which the French returned Madras to the English. Then second Carnatic War 1749 to 54, the English defeated the French, and Chand Sahib, who was the Nawab of Carnatic, he became the Nawab of Carnatic after killing Anwaruddin, and he was a friend of French. But in this second Carnatic War, Chand Sahib was killed and the whole of Carnatic sea fell into the hand of the English. See the location of Carnatic here to the south of India. In Carnatic, both the famous forts of English and French were situated in Madras and Pondicherry respectively. The capital of Carnatic was Arcot. So in the second Carnatic War, the whole of Carnatic fell into the hand of the English, and finally a treaty was signed at Pondicherry in 1754, in which both the company agreed not to interfere in the dispute of native princes. It was the English commander Robert Clive who played a very important role in the victory of English over the French. And this Robert Clive later on also played a very important role in the victory of the British. In which battle? In the Battle of Plassey that took place in 1757. We will discuss this battle later on. Then the third Carnatic War was decisive, 1756 to 63. This war was the result of the 7 Years' War broke out in Europe. The French were completely defeated in the Battle of Vandivash in 1760. And by 1761 the French lost all the territories in India to the English. Finally the Treaty of Paris was signed in 1763 and Pondicherry was restored to the French, because Pondicherry was captured by the Britishers during the third Carnatic War, and by the Treaty of Paris Pondicherry was restored to the French. In this way you find that the third Carnatic War decided that who will be the dominant power of India. Who will be the dominant power? The English East India Company. Then Battle of Plassey, very famous battle, 1757, fought between the Nawab of Bengal Sirajud-Dowlah and he was defeated by the British. The battle paved the way for the British conquest of the whole of India. It was a major victory for the East India Company, for the Britishers, and it was this battle who set the Britishers on the way of conquering the whole of India. Mir Jafar was proclaimed the new Nawab Bengal as he has secretly make an alliance with Britishers just before the battle against Nawab Sirajud-Dowla. The company received the zamindari of the 24 Paragnas near Calcutta. The company, that means East India Company, also got the right to free trade in Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. Besides, the East India Company also got huge sum of money from the Nawab. Then just after a few years, Battle of Buxar took place in 1764. In this battle, again the British came out victoriously. The British defeated the Nawab of Bengal Mir Qasim, the Nawab of Awadh Shujaud-Dowla and the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. And this war was more fruitful for the Britishers, as after the Battle of Buxar, the British got the right to collect revenue from Bihar, Bengal and Odisha. In the Battle of Plassey, the company got the Jamindari of 24 Paragnas and the right to trade freely. But after the Battle of Buxar, the British got the right to collect revenue from the. Now the Britishers became the tax collector. A separate treaty, a Treaty of Allahabad, was signed with Shujaud-Dowla in 1765, by which Nawab had to pay huge war indemnity, war compensation to the British. Thus we find that after the Battle of Buxar, the Mughal Emperor became the pensioner of the company, and a fixed sum of 53 lakh rupees was fixed for the Nawab of Bengal in return of Diwani. See, Nawab Sirajud-Dowla, he became the victim of the treachery of his own men in Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, scene of the Battle of Plassey. Then Anglo-Mysore War. 4 Mysore War took place between the East India Company and the ruler of Mysore. The first Anglo-Mysore War, 1767 to 69. The British formed triple alliance with the Marathas and Nizam against Hyder Ali, the ruler of Mysore. In the war, the British took possession of one of the provinces of Mysore. As a result, Hyder Ali reached the neighborhood of Madras, which greatly frightened the British. Finally, a Treaty of Madras was signed in 1769 and all conquests made by either side were restored. Then Second Anglo-Mysore War, 1780-84. Hyder Ali died in the middle of the war and his son Tipu Sultan continued the war. Tipu Sultan, the original name of Tipu Sultan was Fateh Ali Khan. He was popularly known as Tipu Sultan. Treaty of Mangalore was signed in 1784, which ended the Second Anglo-Mysore War without any victory from either side. Then Third Anglo-Mysore War, 1790 to 92. Tipu Sultan attacked Travancore. See in the map, Mysore, Kingdom of South India, and just to the south of Mysore you will find a small kingdom, small principality, Travancore, who was an ally of the Britishers. So Tipu Sultan attacked Travancore, an ally of the British. Consequently, the combined forces of Maratha, Nizam and the British defeated Tipu Sultan. This was the first major blow to the power and prestige of Tipu Sultan. He was defeated by the Britishers. And Treaty of Seringapatam, Seringapatam was the capital of Mysore also. Treaty of Seringapatam was signed. Tipu had to surrender half of his territories to all the powers and pay heavy war indemnity. Then just after 7 years we find 4th Anglo-Mysore War took place. Lord Wellesley was the Governor General, and in this war Tipu was completely defeated. He was killed in the battle, and afterwards the whole kingdom of Mysore was occupied by the British. See, Hyder Ali, he was the person who laid the foundation of the Muslim kingdom in Mysore, and he was succeeded by his son Tipu Sultan. Then Maratha War. The next target was the Maratha. See, the kingdom of Maratha. After the Mughal, the Maratha established the most extensive empire in India, and if it is being said that if British would not have been there in India, the next ruler of India would be the Marathas. First Maratha War. The Peshwa Narayan Rao was murdered by his uncle Raghunath Rao in 1773. However, Raghunath Rao was not recognized as Peshwa. So Raghunath Rao sought the help of the British and thus began the war. Okay, the British provided protection to Raghunath Rao, who was considered as a murderer of Peshwa by the other Maratha chief, and this created a lot of resentment among the Marathas against the Britishers, and thus began the war. The first Maratha war continued for many years. It was brought to an end by the Treaty of Salbai in 1782. Finally, the war was ended with the Treaty of Salbai. Madhav Rao was recognized as the Peshwa. Then Second Anglo-Maratha War, 1803 to 5. The Peshwa Baji Rao II, the last Peshwa of Maratha, Baji Rao II, accepted the subsidiary alliance in 1802. This treaty was known as the Treaty of Bassein, and by this treaty, the Peshwa came under the indirect control of the Britishers. And this was not liked by the other Maratha chief. Who were the other Maratha chief? Bhosle of Nagpur, Scindia of Gwalior, and Holkar of Indore. So both Scindia and Bhosle declared war against the British, but they suffered defeat and they had to cede many territories to the British. So Second Anglo-Maratha War was the first blow to the prestige of Marathas in India. Third Anglo-Maratha War, 1817 to 18, that was the last Maratha war. Peshwa was not happy with the terms of the Treaty of Bassein. Okay, a lot of unnecessary restrictions were imposed on Peshwa. As a result of which, Peshwa made a secret alliance with Bhosle and Holkar, and all of these three powers declared war against the Britishers. And thus began the Third Anglo-Maratha War. Lord Hastings was the Governor General of the British at that time. The Marathas were defeated. Okay, and the whole Maratha kingdom was annexed to the British Empire. In this way, we find that this Maratha Empire was now occupied by the Britishers. And Peshwa Baji Rao II was sent to a small village Bithur near Kanpur, and he was pensioned. So that's all about the Maratha War. See the Maratha War, scene of the Anglo-Maratha War. Then Sikh War, Anglo-Sikh War. Two Sikh War took place with the Britishers. First Anglo-Sikh War, 1845 to 46. After the death of Masih, the kingdom of Sikh, it's a very powerful empire at one time, was founded by Maharaja Ranjit Singh, but he had a very good relationship with the Britishers. But after the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh in 1839, Dalip Singh became the new Sikh ruler of Punjab. In 1845, the Sikh army was ordered to cross the Satluj in December 1845. Okay, beyond Satluj there was the territory of Britishers, and this was not liked by the Britishers, and thus began the first Sikh War. The Sikhs were defeated and the Treaty of Lahore was signed in 1846. By this treaty, the Sikhs were forced to cede to the British all the territories to the south of Satluj along with huge war indemnity. Then Second Anglo-Sikh War, 1848 to 49. The Sikhs were completely defeated by the British in the Battle of Gujarat in February 1849. Okay, Lord Dalhousie at that time was the Governor General of the Britishers. He made a proclamation for the annexation of the whole of Punjab. That means whole of Punjab was occupied by the Britishers. Dalip Singh, see Dalip Singh, he was very minor at that time, was not mature. So Dalip Singh was defeated, he was pensioned off and he was sent to London. And Dalip Singh used to have a very precious diamond, that was Kohinoor diamond, which he inherited from his father Maharaja Ranjit Singh. So that Kohinoor diamond was taken away by the Britishers and it was presented to Queen Victoria as a gift, which was fixed on the crown of Queen Victoria. It's still fixed in the crown. That crown, the Kohinoor diamond, which at one time belongs to India. So that was the Sikh and Second Anglo-Sikh War. Afterwards we find that the whole kingdom of Sikh were like that of Marathas, Bengal, Mysore. The whole kingdom of Sikh empire was also incorporated into the British. And in this way we find that the Britishers who came to India as a trader, they became the administrator. and they continued to rule over India till 1947. And during their rule, we find a great transformation in the socio, politico and economic system of our country. Thank you, students.